Good afternoon. Tim, what up, my dude? TR Mendes, hey. Quintus, hi. Guess how cold it is? Here. 0 degrees. I'm assuming 0 degrees. If not 0, then I don't know, because I suck at. Oh, it's less than 0. Oh shit, I didn't know it could go less than 0. Negative 18. Gosh, blessed be. That is rough. That's rough. That's rough. Dag nabbit. Dang it, that's rough. That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. But sucks. But it's the state that you're in. If you're in a state, I don't know. Anyway, good afternoon to all my cubs and little cubs. It is your number one league king. We are back in this thing called Warframe. As the title suggests, we are going to start our 48 part mega series. I have never done anything like this in all my life, and I'm excited for it. We're going to start a 48 part series called Know Your Frame. I am going to be going into detail about each and every frame that we have available to us, talking about the passives and along with the abilities and whatnot. Yeah, the coldest it's been in Minnesota is negative 72 with, I'm assuming you mean wind shear. That's crazy. Negative 72. I can't. That is horrible. But you're from Minnesota. I'm assuming that you're used to stuff like that. I'm assuming. It's still cold regardless of if you're used to it or not. It's still cold. And that was only 3 years ago. Gee, what? Just put me in the ground, because I can't handle stuff like I can't handle that type of cold. I would die, actually. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I have never taken up something like this before. It's going to be a great undertaking for not only Twitch land but also YouTube land, because I will be pushing these videos or this stream from Twitch over to YouTube, so that way all of YouTube land and all the people who play Warframe, from new players to veteran players, can get a better understanding of the frames that they play. Not to say that they don't understand the frames that they play, but there are little nuances that some people just don't know, and there are general things that the majority of people just don't know. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And I got a 25%. Alright. Yeah, you'd frostbite, or you go frostbite in 20 minutes. To say the least. Alright, so I've officially hit over 1K daily logins. I'm at 1,000. That's what's up. So I am perplexed because what's this? He is not sure. Okay, that's great. I'm perplexed because, I feel like there may be a slight gap in the information I'm getting ready to press down. Now, mind you, I want you to understand something. Even though there might be slight variances to the information I'm going to push out, and I'm talking about like very slight, very slight. I mean, like 99% of the information I'm going to push out is my 9% of the information I'm going to push out is directly tied to whatever frame I'm talking to. There are certain little things that I can't 100% back For example, I don't have a regular Excalibur. The only version of Excalibur that I have is Excalibur Umbra. For new players, they won't have Excalibur Umbra until they complete the Sacrifice quest. In order to get the Sacrifice quest, there's a little bit of mission and gameplay that they would have to do. But they can access regular Excalibur right off the gate. So, Little Birdie put it in my head to speak about the frames let me say how I can say this. Speak about the frames, how they are able to access them. So, for example, you are able to access Excalibur, Mag, and Volt right off the bat because those are the 3 starter frames, and then follow the star chart how you would, get whatever Warframe that you're going for. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to follow starter frames and then follow star chart and then add the other frames how you're able to access them. Simple as that. I've been playing since 2013 Tempo, but I took a 3 or 4 year break. But I do remember there being stamina and only 4 lives a day. Okay, that's what's up. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't remember that. 2013 is when the game officially ported to console. I think I started playing 2015-ish. So it was right before they made the changes to Ember, where Ember had World on Fire, but now it's called Inferno and some other stuff. So yeah, this ought to be fun. So let me go ahead and pull up the information here. Stamina and 4 lives per day were changed before then. Yeah. So here we go. This is going to be 100% raw and uncut. I ain't doing, well, I might do maybe an edit, maybe, I don't know, maybe. Ain't no telling. I might not. Keep it as genuine to the style that I'm pushing down as possible. Like I said, this is gonna go on YouTube, so I will be putting in like timestamps, so that way if that person wants to just learn information like per the timestamp, it'd be like easier for them. It was rough until they changed it. I can imagine so. Alright, so like I said earlier, I don't have a regular Excalibur, so this is the 1% that I'm referring to. There are going to be like slight changes. I think like maybe 2 changes that you newer players won't see until they get Excalibur. But I'm going to explain it so that way all the information I'm releasing is general, regardless if it's Excalibur or Excalibur Umbra, and everyone will still be on the same sheet of music. So let's talk about his passive.
Where's my facility?
Alright, so his passive, Excalibur and Excalibur Umbra, both have improved mastery in the Tenno Art of the Blade. So basically, they will receive 10% attack speed and damage bonuses for their melee swords, dual swords, nakanas, rapiers, and the exalted blade will also receive that bonus as well. Now, I want to go ahead and point out all the information that I'm getting ready to disseminate is coming directly from the wiki. Whenever I do push this video and all other subsequent videos to YouTube, they will include a link to the wiki, so that way everyone will be on the same sheet of music. There's also Excalibur Prime, but yeah, I already know. Yeah, we know that Excalibur Prime only came with founders. The second thing, so both Excalibur and Excalibur Umbra both have swordsmanship. Only Excalibur Umbra has Umbra's sentience. So basically, whenever you pop out into your operator form and you're running Excalibur Umbra, he can do stuff on his own. Where normally if you pop out of a regular Excalibur, he's just gonna stand there like this. He's not gonna move. He don't care about nothing. He's just there. So there's that, and that's it for passive. All right, so let's talk about his one. I appreciate his one a whole bunch. If there is an augment, so if there are augments for the ability that I'm discussing, then I will also put timestamps to separate, you know, skill, augment, so on and so forth. So this first video is probably going to be like longer than all the other ones that I'm going to push now. But anyway, we're talking about his one slash dash. Let's see here. Where? Okay. Why did his? Oh, I skipped right past it. Weird. Here we go. Excalibur dashes between his enemies within a cone 12 meters long and cuts them down with his exalted blade. Each strike inflicts 250 base damage. Base damage is distributed 15% impact, 15% puncture, and 70% slash. Cone length and dash velocity are affected by ability range. Slash dash is affected by aim glide. Slash dash is affected by momentum, but will not change momentum outside of its animation. Let's take a look here. Give me one moment. I'm trying to rearrange everything. Alright, so slash dash base, crit chance, and stat chance are 0%. Slash dash cannot deal crit hits or status effects without flat bonuses to either metric. So no crit from his one. Damage is affected by ability strength, the melee combo counter, and some mods. If you do have a sword type weapon equipped in his melee, then that will receive a 10% bonus because of his passive. Mods that affect slash dash include damage mods like steel charge or prime pressure point or pressure point, something like that. Physical mods like jagged edge, elemental mods, and weapon augments, something like justice blades. So if you have a weapon or if you have melee weapon equipped that can rock a weapon augment, then you can get, you know, more damage. Or yeah, because there are some weapon augments that do have like status chance tied to them, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Coming on down. Slash dash's damage composition is not affected by Chromatic Blade. Chromatic Blade is an augment that we will discuss later. Enemies damaged by slash dash suffer a knockdown unless immune to knockdown or statuses. Slash dash cone length is not affected by melee range mods, so you cannot utilize reach in order to increase its cone length. Every instance of damage adds to the melee combo counter regardless of the amount of enemies hit, or if Excalibur physically made contact with the target. Excalibur has health immunity during the dash animation, but not shield immunity. Though Excalibur's health is immune during the animation, it is still possible for adaptation to build stacks. So that's a good thing to know. So that way, if you do have adaptation on and you are caught in the middle of animation, so if you're hitting a small group of enemies, but there is a larger group of enemies around you that are shooting you, you can still build up your adaptation stacks. Airborne enemies such as Hellions and Ospreys can also be targeted, but are still difficult for slash dash to traverse to unless the aim button is held for aim glide physics to take effect. Okay. If there are no enemies within its targeting area, /dash will make Excalibur dash forward in the direction of aim, allowing it to be used as a mobility aid when reaching. Let me see. When reaching high places. So that's cool. Can be used to pass through barriers unharmed in most cases. Let's see. Can be used while jumping, sliding, forward, flipping, while running, or clinging to a wall. /dash can damage enemies across the rift plane. /dash is affected by and can trigger Warframe arcanes. Cool. Ability synergy. When Exalted Blade is active, /dash gains the following benefits. It will receive a 10% bonus to its base damage from Excalibur's passive, as the blade is considered a longsword. /dash hits will add to the melee combo counter. We discussed that already. Exalted Blade will release an energy wave when an enemy is hit by /dash. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, /dash does have, I want to say, two augments. I want to say 2. Yes, I'm correct. /dash does have 2 augments. The first being Surging Dash. Surging Dash, each enemy hit during /dash further increases your melee counter by 4. Alright. So each hit of your /dash will basically be 4 ticks of melee combo counter. And if I remember correctly, looking at the notes, the combo counter hits per enemy is affected by ability strength. Mods that affect combo count per hit, such as True Punishment, affects the modified end result of your combo count after Surge Dash's calculations. Okay. For example, the full Umbral set with max ranked Umbral Intensifier results in 166 power strength, while with Surging Dash, your combo will have 7 combo count points. With True Punishment equipped, you will gain 14. Holy crap. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, if you want to, like, ramp up your freaking combo counter fast, that's the way to go. That's crazy. Alright, so the second augment for this ability, and mind you, this is just the first ability, okay? This is just the first ability. Let me see. The second augment is called Purging Slash. You more than likely won't see this because it's really not necessary, but I'll explain it anyway. Purging Slash, allies in the path of /dash have 4 debuffs removed and 100% shields restored. Okay, so there is a very, very niche, like very, very niche use for that. Very niche. I mean, 4 debuffs, okay, nobody's really caring about that. And the only thing that really like stands out to me is the 100% shield restore. I mean, Arcane Aegis exists. Arcane Barrier exists. There's something that can be done with that. I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's really going to see much use. But hey, that is a completely subjective opinion. Somebody out there may like it. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about his 2. Which is here for Umbra is called Radial Howl. And here's the second little caveat that's different between Excal and Excal Umbra. Only thing that's really different is literally the name. I mean, outside of like one little caveat. So Radial Blind for regular Excalibur emits a bright flash of light blinding all enemies. Radial Howl does the same exact thing, but the additional to that is Sentience shed any built up resistances that they have on them. So if there is a Oculus that you're fighting and it has built up resistances and you're using Excal Umbra, pop your 2, they have no more resistances and they can start taking more damage. That's literally the only difference between the 2 areas. So, explaining his 2, Excalibur summons and raises his exalted blade, releasing an intense flash of light that affects enemies within 25 meters and blinds them for 15 seconds. All these numbers that I'm reading are basically when your Excalibur is at base stats. Base duration, range, strength, and efficiency. Duration is affected by ability duration. Radius is affected by range. Blinded enemies are vulnerable to melee finishers and susceptible to stealth damage bonus. Radial Blind will not affect enemies behind obstacles in the environment unless Excalibur has line of sight, or unless the enemy is aware of Excalibur within a short period of time. For example, an enemy that spots Excalibur and runs out of view is still susceptible to Radial Blind if the ability is used within a small time frame. Cool! Let's see here. So I am going to kind of shorten it a little bit because there's a lot of information in regards to a bunch of this, all of these abilities. But I will point out the most important things about these abilities. Well, important, and I say that, like I said, subjectively. Security cameras will deactivate their laser barriers for the duration. So basically you can blind cameras and you won't have to worry about setting off traps. Something like a spy mission, maybe, kind of, sort of, I don't know. But I guess they will still know that you're there, maybe. Blinded enemies have smoke views from their eyes. Okay, so that's talking about the cosmetic of the ability. Let's see here. Subsuming Excalibur to the helmet system offers Radial Blind and its augments to be used by other frames. So, Radial Blind is the ability that can be put on any other frame. If there is a frame that you like, I would like that frame to blind somebody. It's an option, basically. So, let's take a look at the augment. The augment name is Radiant Finish. I really like this augment on him, and I'm glad that this is the ability that can be pushed to other frames. Radiant Blind augment. Blinded enemies take 300% more finisher damage, and I believe, let's go ahead and check that out. I believe that the percentage is increased by strength. Let's pull that up real quick. Come on, computer. These ads are getting in the way. Yes, damage multiplier is affected by ability strength, and it is multiplicative to finishing touch. Synergizes very well with Ash's Blade Storm, as the damage dealt by the ability is finisher damage. Well, well, saying that out loud, if there was an Ash in the world who utilized Marked for Death along with this ability on his kit. There's a lot of craziness that can be pushed out by Ash. I'm not a Ash main myself, but that does sound nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about his 3. Radial Javelin. Let's see here. Excalibur summons 12 javelins against enemies within a radius of 25 meters. Excalibur then drives his weapon into the ground, launching the javelins into their targets. Each javelin inflicts 1,000 damage and staggers enemies. Damage is distributed evenly between impact, contra, and slash. Damage is affected by strength, while the number of javelins is not. Enemies that survive the damage are temporarily stunned. The radius is affected by range. While the javelins do not punch through objects or enemies, their striking position is optimized to ensure a successful hit on their targets when they spawn. This allows the javelins to bypass obstacles in the environment, including walls, cover, and Grineer shield lancer abilities. Now, mind you, I may have said all of that, but if you go to the second portion of this, Radial Javelin will not target enemies behind obstacles in the environment unless Excalibur has line of sight, or unless the enemy is aware of Excalibur for a short period of time. So basically, either you see him, or you see the enemy, or the enemy sees you, is the only way that Radial Javelin will make contact with the enemy. These portions talk about the appearance of it. That's fine. Okay, that was a pretty short one. So, 1,000 damage is a decent amount, but if that enemy does have resistances, which they will, some part of the attack itself just won't hit as hard as other parts. Clone flesh by itself, not the armor aspect, just the health portion of Grineer, they have a negative 25% damage modifier on impact, I believe. Yes. So, for example, if you hit flesh with 100 impact damage, they're only going to take 75. So it's the same way, you know, with however much 1,000 is split. So 333 point whatever that number is, they'll only take 25% of that, you know, to be, you know, hit against their health. Radial Javelin Augment. It's called Furious Javelin. Each enemy hit will increase Excalibur's melee damage by 10% for 16 seconds. Let me pull that information up real quick. I gotta sneeze. Excuse the heck out of me. Alright, so pulling up this here. Go away. Okay. A rippling aura will appear under Excalibur when the melee damage buff is active. This aura will become brighter with every cast of Radial Javelin. The duration of the augment, the duration portion, is affected by ability duration. The bonus damage is affected by strength. The effect is a total damage increase that is multiplicative to all other forms of damage increase, similar to Eclipse. For example, with a max pressure point and intensify equipped, 5 enemies hit, and a weapon that deals 100 damage, the modified damage will be 291.5. Okay. So it's basically saying if you have only those two things on and you activate his 3 with the augment on, you'll be able to do 291.5 points of damage. And that is before, you know, calculations are made, clone flesh, armor, things of that nature. So even though that all that information is all well and good, that you're doing additional damage, it still is going to bring that damage number down because it's hitting enemy resistances. So basically saying, strip armor, apply fire. So that way you can do big numbers. You can recast the ability to refresh duration, but it will override the previous bonus, regardless of whether it was higher or lower. So if you have a damage bonus of 150% and then you refresh and you get a lower number, that's just how it's going to be. Or if you have a low number, then you go high, it's just going to refresh to however many you hit to keep that active. So hit all enemies. Hit all of them. The bonus modifier would not exceed 12 times, even if more than 12 enemies are hit. Okay, that makes total sense. So if you want a melee damage boost, to your ability, to your weapon, I mean, you can always slap on Furious Javelin. So let's go ahead and talk about his 4. The ultimate ability, the Exalted Blade. And this thing is, whew, it's ridiculous. It, off top, I'm not even going to read it just yet, but off top it gets a 10% damage increase. Just because it's in Excalibur. It's his weapon, it's his exalted weapon, it's getting 10% bonus just off of the passive alone. So that's always nice. Excalibur draws an Ethereal Skana, the Exalted Blade, and wields it as his melee exalted weapon. Normal attacks inflict 250 damage within 2 meters. Damage is distributed between 15% impact, 15% puncture, and 70% slash. And they're going into wall attacks and slide attacks, aerial attacks, so on and so forth. So let's see, skip all of that. Okay. So the energy wave, attacks and energy waves have a 2x multiplier with a 15% crit chance and status chance. That is kinda low, but I mean, with the amount of other stuff that this weapon can do, like, it kind of balances out. Too bad I'm still at work, but hi. Wait, you're still at work? Damn. I'm sorry to hear that, Crawford. Good afternoon to you. That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, being a sword, Exalted Blade will always gain a 10% damage and attack speed bonus, like I just said. For example, with a max pressure point, shocking touch, and intensify, normal attacks and corresponding energy waves of a rank 3 Exalted Blade will deal 1420.25 damage. Mods equipped on and effect Exalted Blade include damage mods, physical mods, elemental mods, faction mods, crit chance and crit damage, status chance, status duration, attack speed. Now, weirdly enough, they list here they list condition overload, drifting contact, healing return. These are all mods that they initially said wouldn't work on exalted weapons. So I'm very skeptical about those mods. Good evening, homie. What up, Tristan? Thanks to you for the lurk. I appreciate that. Note that apart from physical damage mods and shattering impact, all mods will still affect Exalted Blade when Chromatic Blade is equipped. While officially set mod bonuses do not affect exalted weapons with the exception of the sacrificial mod set, Gladiator mod set can still apply if equipped on melee and not on the exalted weapon itself. Makes sense. Let's see. Each melee attack adds to the melee combo counter while energy waves do not. Okay, makes sense. Thought you weren't chatting. So yeah, I fixed. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna be as natural as I'm gonna be. So it is what it is. I'm just gonna be natural, and I will break it down how it should be broken down. Here we go. Exalted Blade cannot be equipped with weapon augments, weapon specific mods, weapon combo counter mods, acolyte mods, or amalgam mods. Riven mods are not generated for the Exalted Blade or any exalted weapon for that matter. So, let's see. Skip all of that. Let's see. Okay, Exalted Blade is affected by and can trigger Warframe arcanes. Exalted Blade is not affected by and cannot trigger Exodia arcanes. While active, Exalted Blade will use an exclusive stance with its own set of combo attacks. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, this all talks about the cosmetic of the ability itself, which is all really good. But let's take a look at the augment. Chromatic Blade. This has to be in his entire kit probably the most broken probably the most broken augment that he has in his entire kit. And when I say kit, I'm referring to his 4 original abilities. And this augment is something else. So, Chromatic Blade. Exalted Blade's damage type changes depending on Excalibur's emissive color, comma, okay, so let's stop there for a minute. We're going to break this down. Exalted Blade's damage type changes depending on Excalibur's emissive color. Now that should have been period instead of comma, but either way it works out. So that basically says when you have this augment on, you go to your arsenal, you go into your appearance for Excalibur and change the color to the one that you want to represent. So obviously green colors toxin, blue and purple is electricity. Well, purple is electricity. I think blue is like ice, and of course red for fire. So you can only do the primary elements. You can't do the secondary elements. But here's the caveat to that. If done properly, you can have 2 secondaries and a primary element. I will show you what I mean shortly. You can have basically 3 elements on your Chromatic Blade, or on your Chromatic Blade if you do it right, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So second part is status chance is increased by 300%. Status chance is increased by 300%. People, please understand. I'm gonna say this. The status chance is 100% affected by strength. So you can have more than 300% status chance. You can have more than 300%. So here's the example that they gave. Using max intensify, drifting contact, chromatic blade, results in a status chance. Let's see. It says 79.5. Okay. To achieve 100% status chance without any status chance mods, your ability strength has to be at least 189%. Obviously, we're going to have ability strength on ours. And obviously, you should go ahead and put status chance mods on your Exalted Blade anyway, because we want a crap ton of status chance. You want a crap ton. Although a chromatic blade removes all physical damage, it is still possible to inflict impact procs through the cutting poise combo of Exalted Blade stance. Who cares about impact procs? When all the elemental damage that you're going to be pushing out, not only through the blade but also through the energy waves, who cares about impact? I'm just being honest. Like, who cares about impact at that point? Due to the large status chance boost this augment gives, it pairs well with condition overload. And I know it says that we could use it on his weapon. We're just gonna have to test it out. Furthermore, players can forego dual status elemental mods such as Volcanic Edge and use mods that only increase elemental damage like Molten Impact. You 100% could. You can just go straight raw damage. But I know that will bite you in the back a little bit. Bite you on the butt, I should say. Because if you're using Chromatic Blade just by itself and you're just getting the 3x status chance, which is all well and good, you will only have how many? Let's see, if you just run it raw, you'll basically inflict just 3 statuses, right? So whatever statuses that you have, for example, if you only have corrosive and heat and then you have a 300% status chance, you have a 3x chance of applying 3 corrosive procs, 3 heat procs, combination of the 2 in the form of 3. Or you can do, like, I think I got a build for like 600% and basically double your status chance going out. Just saying, either way you want to do it. Like, you can have unga bunga damage. I mean, either way, if you do raw 90% mods or the 60-60, you're still gonna have like huge melee damage coming out. Alright, so we have explained in length Excalibur and Excalibur Umbra. The question is, how do we build it? How will we properly build Excalibur? I feel a lot of people go the opposite route of how a frame operates. What I mean is, you have someone like Excalibur who clearly, if you look at his kit, clearly is a melee specialist. That's what they do. It's melee, melee, melee. That's what they excel in. You would have people who will forget to just take a step back and have a broader look at the frame. Most people, they just get in and they say guns, 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 shoot guns, shoot guns. And they forget that, these Warframes have particular strengths if you just pay attention to them a little bit more. right? And that's the very case with Excalibur. His strength is melee, and it is very, very strong. Just because of where melee is right now, he excels at everything very well. Especially so when you have a good mobility, you have a good way of getting around. I mean, obviously it's a DPS ability, but if you don't want to, you could just use it to get around, and you can get around pretty far. I'm just saying. Also, you have a hard CC, blinding. I snap my finger. Oh, you can't see for 25 seconds. That's basically what that is. And you're gonna die, because I'm gonna stab you in the gut and I'm gonna run off. And then you have Radial Javelin. Once again, another, I want to say this is like a mild DPS, mild CC. And I mean very mild, because it's not gonna CC for long. And then you got, I'm taking out my freaking Excalibur. I'm taking out my sword. And this sword is gonna make sure that future generations of you won't exist. That's basically what that's saying. He is melee. In all of its glory, he is melee. So, let's see. I have my own personal preference on how I would play him, right? I have my play. How would others think to utilize him is the key. So I would say you want to focus on making sure, first off, that he is strong enough to withstand some things, right? So that way he can utilize his abilities to their fullest extent. Or you can make him into a glass cannon. You can do that. I mean, there's so many ways that you can play this guy that it just depends on your imagination and what you're willing to do, right? All of his augments are great. I mean, obviously, I haven't even ranked it up yet. That's how much I'm not gonna use it, right? Okay, so let's see. How could we do this? Like I said earlier, since I don't have a regular Excalibur, I just have Umbra. You're going to see polarities that either don't make sense to you, or you're going to see some extra polarities of like, why are there so many polarities there? Trust me, I put in some time to get to this spot. But anyway, regular, if I'm not mistaken, regular Excalibur, he has, I think he comes with 2 polarities on his own. Regular Excalibur does. Let me type it. Let me find it real quick. And load, please. Alright. Takes a little longer. My computer is slightly slow. There's so many so many ads in the way. Alright, so regular Excalibur, if you pick him as your starter frame, he comes with a D polarity and a V polarity. So that kind of helps with the building portion, because there are a lot of important augments here in the Madurai and what, Vazarin? Yeah. Madurai and Vazarin really hold like the bulk of the more important mods that you would use. Prime Continuity, Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Regular Intensify, Regular Continuity, things of that nature. Now mind you, some of these mods you may not have access to, or you just may not have, period. You can always just build the generic versions of these mods. So of course, if you see me put Prime Continuity, if you see me use it, and you don't have one for yourself, you can just always use regular Continuity. If you see me use Blind Rage and you don't have Blind Rage, you can just go with Intensify. You know, you always want to make sure that you have the regular versions of mods, so that way you will have, like, you know, that edge. I'm not gonna say pro tip, but I mean, kind of is. Just make sure that you have like these three: Redirection, Steel Fiber, and Vitality. Every starting Warframe player should just have this. Now, mind you, it may not fit because you may not have an Orokin Catalyst, Orokin Catalyst in your slot. But just to make sure that you have them, so whenever you do put a potato, that's the name that we give it: gold potato, silver potato. Silver potato is for weapons. Whenever you do put a potato into your Warframe, you will have more capacity to put those mods in. You can play the majority of the content without Prime mods. That is 100% true. You can absolutely do that. Definitely understand that Prime mods are not necessary. They are just a slightly better version of the original. So, for example, Prime Vigor, if you don't have that, regular Vigor will work just fine. Prime Sure-Footed, if you don't have that, and you won't have that until you're a couple of hundred login rewards in. Regular, Sure-Footed, or Handspring, they will work just fine. So, yeah. So, let's see. I have a V in my Aura slot, so I can use Growing Power. I can also use melee guidance. I would, but I wouldn't use melee guidance on me. I could also use rifle amp if I want to boost my rifle damage, shotgun, pistol, boost stealth damage. But most people, since we understand that Excalibur is a melee specialist, you would want to use Steel Charge in your Aura slot for two reasons. Obviously, to get 60% increased melee damage, and secondly, it is the only augment outside of power donation. So it was the only augment that gave you increased capacity. So if you are, make sure that you either have an Aura Forma, which will be here. Aura Forma will make that mod slot universal for all your auras, or you just match it to the mod that you're going to use. Okay, I'm back. I'm finally off. Yay, you! I'm glad you're off. So, obviously, we're going to use Steel Charge because increase melee damage and increase capacity, right? Alright, so, since this is Excalibur Umbra, and I do apologize that I don't have regular Excalibur, trust me, it won't take you long to get Excalibur Umbra. Obviously, since the slots are available for him, you of course would just use these. So whenever you do acquire him, these mods are given to you at rank 5, and they are simply like amazing. They are the tits. So whenever you do get Excalibur Umbra and you rank up these mods, and it is a set, each mod increases the value of the other exponentially. So when you do get all three and they are all equipped, Vitality will give you 7.7x health, Umbral Fiber will give you 192.5% armor, and you will get 77% strength from Intensify. So, obviously, that is an amazing goal to shoot for. Shoot for completing Sacrifice, so that way you can get Excalibur Umbral. Let me swap around my polarities real quick. I like my stuff to look a little uniform, if that makes sense. So, let's go ahead and put Steel Charge back. Put our these on. Fiber up. Okay. Alright, so obviously we got the three, the big three. So we have a dash, a V, and a D polarity. Knowing what we know about our abilities, we want to strengthen our melee, right? Our 4 is beefed up by our strength, so currently we are doing substantially more damage in the IPS range. Now, I don't even think it would matter, honestly, because it turns, I think, yeah, they say Chromatic Blade turns off our IPS. So let's go to this blade here real quick. Okay. Look at all that slash damage right there. Okay. Oh, and plus I got Buzzkill. Why do I have Buzzkill on here? It is kind of. I ain't gonna say it's necessary, but it helped. So let's go back. Did you already explain how passive only works for certain weapon types? Yes. Yes, I did. Alright, so let's go back here. Alright, so obviously if we're going to utilize our 4, we have to put this on. We just have to. Okay? If you could tell, this ability does have initial energy cost and drain per second. I'm sorry, I just didn't know for the longest time. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I understood. That's the whole point. So, right now, with Chromatic Blade on, our status chance is 531%, and that's based off of our current strength. 531. And we're not even done. We're not even done. Like, we come over here to this ridiculousness. Yeah, so Chromatic Blade basically turns off IPS. Okay, I'm cool with that. Let me show you, I'm gonna show y'all something real quick once I am done. So we have no IPS. So we don't even worry about IPS here with Chromatic Blade. So basically all the strength goes into beefing up the amount of status chance that we get, right? Okay. So this being a initial energy cost plus energy drain over time, obviously we're going to want a big energy pool. And we're gonna want to balance out the drain per second to kind of make it even. I know we're just speaking about the Exalted Blade, but everything else will fall in line as well. So let's see. Where can we go? We can go. So let's see here. Let's try regular. I'm just gonna show regular flow, and we're gonna do regular continuity, just to show what the numbers would look like with the regular stuff, right? So we have D polarity. What would we put? If we want to be safe out there, right? So most people starting off are not going to have adaptation. Most people starting off are not going to have rolling guard. So what would be the next best thing? Redirection. In my opinion. Just saying, in my opinion. It would be the next best thing. Because like I said, not a lot of starting players are going to have adaptation, they're not going to have rolling guard, and they're not going to have access to the helmet system to do ability swaps on their kit, right? So obviously if you have a little bit more shield bulk along with your health bulk, then you'll be good to go. Also, their new players are not going to have arcanes, just not right away. So you want to just be as safe as you can. I mean, even technically speaking, not a lot of new players are going to have chromatic blade, but it is possible to get that very, very early. So let's see, what else do we need? Just the duration that we have, we were able to bring the drain per second down to 1.92. Okay. So also, real quick, since we have Umbral Intensify on, we cannot utilize regular Intensify, right? But if this was regular Excalibur, you can obviously put on Intensify and be safe. So what can we put? What should we put? Should we put Streamline? Because with the energy pool of 450, 1.92, yeah, that is slightly high. That is slightly high. Especially if you're going to be using, any other abilities while this ability is on, because let's be honest, you're not going to be consciously worrying about your 4. Like, as soon as you turn on your 4, you're automatically enamored and you're effing stuff up, right? So we want to try to balance that out a little bit to make it safe. So Streamline, that would help. That brings it down to a more manageable level. Obviously, fleeting expertise would do the trick, but there is a caveat with these corrupted mods. Fleeting expertise is plus efficiency, but minus duration. If we minus our duration, we're just going to be at the same, the same spot that we were earlier. So let me show you real quick. You can have 150% efficiency, right? But you see how your duration is low? That basically brought your drain per second up. Whereas if we had just left it at regular Streamline, it's lower. So 1.35 is a lot more manageable. I mean, obviously you're going to be able to get, energy drops from, your kills and whatnot. So you'll be able to get that energy back. Just want to be a little bit careful. So I would say, just on a managerial part of it, if you're done killing in an area, just turn your 4 off. So that way you won't have to worry about burning through your energy. Everything else is a little bit cheaper as well. Now, as you can see, we don't have range. Our range is neutral, right? We could fix that with getting a little bit of range in. We could do cunning drift, just a little bit. So now everything is, you can travel a little bit further with your 1. You got a little bit more range with your 2, a little bit more radius with your 3. I mean, with those base ranges being 25 meters, and yeah, they're both 25 meters. 25 meters is a heck of an area. it's not a huge area, but it's a decent amount. I mean, especially if you're in a corridor and enemies are coming straight ahead in front of you, you're pretty much set. Especially 20 meters in front of you, you're pretty much set for a good thing. So I feel like this is a solid enough build for someone who, let's say they have these regular mods, right? Let's say these numbers are not max. Let's say there's rank 5. You'll still have a decent amount of health, armor, and strength with the entire set on, right? This is how I switched around my Excalibur. And obviously it's not finished because I switched the things around. So, prime continuity, prime flow. I personally want, let's see, strength is okay. Strength is okay, but I want a little bit more range. I want a little bit more range, a lot more range actually. Like I said, playstyle is subjective to the player, or the mod setup is subjective to the player. Okay. Let's see. I don't have one on. But if I could, I would probably do. I got an idea. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Get rid of that. I'm gonna put on this one, and then that. There we go. Here we are. Also, these mods are good. I got strength bonus from status effects. Chromatic blades giving me all the status I need. I switched out my 3, the original 3, for an ability called Mark for Death. This ability is available through the Helmet system. I'm not going to go into detail on how to get the Helmet system. Obviously, just go to the wiki and look up Helmet, and it'll explain everything there. But yeah, this is going to greatly benefit everything that I like about Excalibur. So let's look at this. Look at our side here first. This is going to work, like 100%. This is going to work. So here is the Exalted Blade, obviously with the. Let's switch some polarities around. Back. Swap polarities. Where am I going to want this? Here, 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 and here. Yep, okay. Alright, so once again, since this is Excalibur Blade, we have 2 free slots for sack pressure and sack steel. So they're going on. Like, that's going to happen. It's free. Free damage increase. Why wouldn't we? You can put on pressure point, but it's not necessary. Now they say condition overload works. If it works, this is really all the damage that you're gonna need. You can do prime pressure point condition overload combo, but you're gonna kind of like, I ain't gonna say you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot, but it'll probably benefit you a little bit more to have an extra mod slot open, since you're gonna have your statuses anyway from external sources. Alright, so we have 50% crit chance, 2x multiplier. We can increase our multiplier. Ooh, I need to sneeze. Oh. There it is. It don't want to come out. I hate that. Okay. So let's increase our crit multiplier. We can do organ shatter. Get our multiplier to 3.8. Do I have? Yeah. So normally melee weapons have an extra 10 on capacity, but because this is an exalted weapon and it has its own stance, then we won't be able to get that extra capacity. So we gotta be a little bit more mindful. Obviously, I'm supposed to have more forma in this thing, but I personally don't play Excalibur as much as someone else with a perfected Excalibur Umbra build. So let's see. Okay, I remember now. Okay, so I need to do this. Okay, so here's the thing that I was talking about earlier, where we can have, I think it was 2 secondaries and a primary element. Remember earlier we was talking about chromatic blade and change the emissive color around, right? So if we have our weapon set for, let's say, viral, right? And leave it with a open-ended element. So currently the open end is electricity, right? If you come over to his appearance, you can see in my emissive color I have green for toxin. Toxin and electricity is viral. So the weapon itself has viral, or electricity and toxin is corrosive. I'm sorry, that was a tongue tie. So you can see I have viral already set as the secondary on the weapon. The emissive color and the open end electricity is going to make it corrosive, right? Normally it would work out to have this volcanic edge, but it wouldn't work out that way because on the weapon it's going to have radiation. So it'll be viral, radiation, toxin. We don't want that. So we have our viral corrosive, which is going to take care of anything in a way. Honestly, take care of anything in a way. So we got everything set. Alright, so let's take a look here at the regular melee. And this is no forma. Okay. Okay, I lost a little bit of crit multiplier, but that is completely fine. This is IPS, priority heat, / priority. Okay. What's the speed? 17. I don't have enough for more speed, or do I? Do I have another quickening perchance? I don't. Where I get quickening from? I forget. Okay. I'll leave that alone for now. Alright, so I like to do, me personally, I like to do the max number of kills or killers. The highest, the strongest enemy that we can hit. The one who has the most like armor, most relative armor at the highest level. That's just me. You know, just to see if there are any tweaks I need to make. Because I always ask people, who is going to see 185? Because even Steel Path, the level starts off at 100, and Sedna starts off at like 140 something. So 185. And I feel like 185 in Steel Path is probably going to be equivalent to regular 185 is probably going to be equivalent to like enemy from Ceres. So you got regular Star Chart 185 is probably going to be the equivalent to some enemy on Ceres or Saturn, something like that, somewhere in between there, right? Because they got just enough. Health and armor for that. Ew, Lord. Oh, I forgot my pet. Why do I forget such things? Well, my pet is on. Where was he? Oh, he died instantly. That's what it was. He died instantly. Shit. Okay. Oh. Yeah, we don't have arcane zone. That's why I saw that weirdly. Okay. So we're gonna be smart about this. We're gonna turn on invincibility. How long does that say we last? I think we're at neutral. Oh no, they're blind as hell right now. They can't deal with nothing. They can't deal with none of the smoke. It's nice to have a quick little blind built into the daggone melee. So you ain't gotta waste energy. You can just go right into it. I think this is okay. Starting off, this will be okay. You're gonna have a little bit of work. You're gonna have a lot of work to do because it is a starting off. but this will work. This will work out. Yeah, this will work out. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to my setup to see the difference. Okay. Alright, here we go. I just want to show off. I honestly just wanted to show off. That was that's it. I just want to show off. Granted, I did do a couple of changes. I mean, obviously, you know, when you get to a period of, okay, I just want to take something and just make it ridiculous for no reason, you get things like that. That's really it. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to do a quick pause to get everything situated, and then I will be back to regular streaming glory. So if you want to chime in, I will leave a link to my Twitch account in the description box below. Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in about 2 minutes. Blue screen.